What's going on, everybody? Welcome, everybody. Welcome. This is another edition of Bots and Concessions. I am your wonderful and most humbly man, Tofa, and I'll be bringing you like some good up-to-date stuff because why? Oh my god, a lot of crap has basically gone down. We missed a lot. NHL Finals ended. Brad Marchand and the Florida Panthers winning the Stanley Cup. Even dented the Stanley Cup. I saw some of the pictures and it's like dented at the top, like, oh. So they're winners. Congratulations. What does that mean for Boston? Oh, God. That can probably be like another time, another place, or if we have some even time today. But there's a lot of other things I need to get to. First off, as I'm looking down at a lot of things and everything like that, I'm basically going to try to like give you a play-by-play, a run-by-run. A lot of things is basically as everything's gone. But to break a lot of our stuff down, let's kick it in high gear. Besides the NHL Finals, the NBA Finals finally ended. So now everybody and their mother can finally just focus on the one. The NBA Finals. The NBA Finals. Yes, I needed to like wonderfully hear that on my end. Oh my god. So yes, the NBA Finals have finally ended. Everybody is probably happy with that. A lot of reports I'm even looking at is like one of the weakest years of the NBA. Like a lot of, I don't even want to say weak teams, but just nothing that can give you hype. Nothing that basically screams, oh my God, is this player going against this player? Is it making something of value? You know, in the 90s, when you watch the NBA, even the 80s, there was Bird versus Magic. There was Charles Barkley versus insert random person here. There was Michael Jordan versus the world. There was also a large man named Shaq who basically went one-on-one with Akeem Olajuwon, didn't care. You could go back and forth with how many matchups, everything was basically going on. What was the point of it? It made interesting storytelling and interesting lines because you had hype. You had a little bit more tenacity behind the NBA than what you do now. Everybody's your friend, everybody's your cousin, your brother, your high five man, you're every woohoo guy. Like it's basically how it carries. What does that, of course, mean for everything else? Well, the stats of like everything are the NBA even right now, like looking at the ratings. I did want to look this up before I even got in here. NBA ratings right now, they're up 3% overall. Just trying to. Yeah, playoff ratings were up 3%. However, Game 7, especially with everything between games 1 through 6, nobody cared. That's the point I'm looking at, is what did anybody really care about the finals? And okay, so Oklahoma City won. Okay, first off, it's over. Congratulations. If you're sitting here, if you're listening to this, if you're just waking up because you didn't want to watch the rest of the game, congrats. I didn't want to watch the game at all. I didn't care. Okay? And now I love this. There's a stat line that's basically going around, and I will say, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you're not the second coming of anybody. I don't care. Okay? Yes, the kid can ball when he has people around him. Okay? Yes, he's making Oklahoma City a little bit interesting. But where's the rest of it? Where's the rest that comes along with it? Where's his star power? Yes, he's a 3-time MVP. Congratulations. No, 3-time All-Star. I'm sorry, not a 3-time MVP. Ooh. But he did do something that a man hasn't done in 25 years. Regular season MVP. What is it? First player in 25 years, regular season MVP, scoring title, and also he ends up with the finals MVP. Let me state something. When you look at the Pacers right now, I believe they had a player out. So if Halliburton was the one that was out, how would he even get the MVP? He's out of the game. So you can't, what do you hold him up to game 6 and just nix game 7? No, if he didn't play game 7, you're not forcing your team to win anything. So Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you haven't been here all playoffs. Okay? You show up a game, you drop a game. You show up a game, you drop a game. But for whatever reason, people point to you and be like, oh, yeah, he's an MVP. Congrats, dude. You didn't play the Celtics. Who did you play to get in here? I think Denver. Denver was the only one that I think you had a full-blown challenge over, but you also led the league with how you played throughout the whole season. Were you skilled? No. Did you have hype around you? I mean, let's put it this way. When you look at the epicenter of what everybody gets hype for when you're talking about the NBA, there's a reason why people sit there and wear LeBum jerseys. There's a reason why people wear Michael Jordan jerseys. There's an umpteen reason why somebody will wear a Kobe Bryant jersey, not because he was great, Lord rest him, because Kobe was one of the greats, period. But why do people wear Magic Johnson, Larry Bird? Why do people wear, as weird as this is, people wear Dennis Rodman? I've seen people who have also worn Isaiah Thomas, and I'm not talking about Isaiah Thomas that was on the Celtics. I'm talking about actual Isaiah Thomas 1.0 that was on the Detroit Pistons. Why? Because the man was lethal. If you want to sit there and wonder what the NBA literally was, watch the 80s, watch the 90s, and watch the game change. Watch it vamp. Watch it become what it is. And then watch it become the dramatizationable weakness special that is actually 2000, 2010, 2020. The LeBron James era. Why do we see that? Because there wasn't really anything that was going on. You had super teams that were coming about. So now you're not playing, a guy that you can challenge. No, he's coming to you because you're high-fiving buddies. Like, yay! Ooh! Does it look like I care? No, I don't. The point of when you look at it is I want challenge. I want something that makes me, holy cow. Like Luka Doncic going back. Luka and the Mavericks. Who's going to win that series? Why would you want to challenge that? What's so big about it? Oh, wait, Luka got screwed by Dallas, was sent over to LA. What does that do? It makes interesting parties because now it's Luka versus Dallas every single time. What did you trade? You traded Luka Doncic. Is he going to win the game? Yes, no, maybe so. Is he going to make something happen and make it interesting? Yes, no, maybe so. That's the point of playing a game. That's the point of getting something in. There's a reason why baseball was so big on certain things when you played the Red Sox versus the Yankees. Didn't matter how many times the Yankees won a World Series. because everybody in New York, hey, buddy, let me tell you, we just won the World Series. How many do we have? 27. I'll tell you a funny story. I worked for a place where the manager was a Yankees fan. What does that mean on my state? Well, he was a Yankees fan. He rooted for the Yankees. We had to listen to the 27 rings, the greatness that was like all these guys, the Aaron Boone home run, the this and that. Like, oh my God. Like, let me tell you, Vinny Gugats, hey, you won a series. You won a championships. You won many. Hey, you traded the Bambino for us. Oh, hey. Oh. Who cares? Who cares? And then you got the Red Sox, who had the curse of the Bambino. They had the curse of everything else. They couldn't win in '67. They couldn't win in what was it, 1986? 6 years old. They couldn't win then. They couldn't win like a lot of times. And then, look, 04. Yay. People have their time. People win things. People get into things. It's not a bad rap. But looking at what you're looking at, the NBA is just not. Listen, if anybody else wants to watch this podcast, listen to this podcast, or say anything after this, let me state how this is. When I watched the NBA Finals and Paul Pierce won a championship in Boston with Ray Allen and also Kevin Garnett, it got me a little excited. You got three guys that are basically going out and making, the chance to take on someone like LA, where they had Shaquille O'Neal and they had Kobe Bryant. So now you attack that. But you also put a very charismatic team around them to make them exactly what they were. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you look at even now, last year when the Celtics won the championship, they played Dallas. Was I scared of Dallas? No. Did they have Luka Doncic? Yes. Could he play defense? No. Who else did they have? Oh, they had Kyrie. Used to like Kyrie. I loved Kyrie. Loved him when he came here. But when he left a sour taste. And then he still talks. He shit talks. It's too much. Who cares about that crap? So what? You won something. Big deal. You won a prize from getting out of somewhere because you didn't want to be there because you thought the fans didn't want you. Then you think the earth was flat and everything else happens. Dude, you're in Dallas. You got your head on straight in Dallas. But what does that mean for him now that he's got his head on straight in Dallas? Well, it just means to the fact that he was more challenging, but the man still didn't play defense. Okay? You're talking about a team that is basically going to 3-point and destroy you and put up so many points that in order for you to win, you've got to match 140 points a night. What's wrong with that? Well, there's a lot wrong with that. Because when you get into the facts, when you're looking at, everything else to where it goes and how you're getting there, there is a big monumental piece. So, did the Celtics win? Yeah. Did he go into a lot? Did they go into a lot of stuff? Yeah. But I'm not going to sit there in any which way, and state to the fact that anything else is basically going in and submitting what everything is and how it goes. That's never going to happen. That's never going to the bottom line of it is the NBA itself is soft. And with the NBA being soft, it's not something that like I sit there screaming about going, oh man, I'm going to go watch an NBA game. Watch me go. I mean, yeah, every once in a while I'll have the Celtics up in like the top corner. You know, I'll watch them and go into like everything and like I'll do everything as it goes. But am I sitting here like screaming to the fact that I want to watch the remainder of the NBA finals? No. Do I want to sit here and go through everything else as it is? No, I really don't. But what's the point of all that if you can't look at everything and go, can I get into this sport? See, playing basketball versus watching basketball, two different things. And I'll tell you why. Hockey versus basketball, and the reason for the breakdown is two of the same sports that you're going to watch over time. And especially where people say baseball is boring, well, basketball's kind of boring as well. A lot of timeouts, back and forth, going over through everything, like mix and match, whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, hockey, first off, you got to have like pure skill. Okay, not only to the fact you have to have pure skill with how you're scoring, how you're moving the puck, how you're gradually going like in and going down ice with everybody, but you got to be on skates. Okay, it's not a set of Converse, people. You got to basically be on skates. You have to be able to control your body, hip check and go into other people, and then do everything else that basically goes for what the layout is. The bottom line of what you look at is it's an amazing piece of tranquility. But where's the bonus capture of everything that you look at? Where's the really good piece that you focus on? The NBA has villains. Okay? Guys that are basically going all over the place. They can't pull a championship. They can't win things. They can't make things happen. They can't do like certain things that like basically you would see everywhere else. The only one thing that you can see is LeBron James is basically the biggest villain of them all, or is the biggest hero of them all. But does that make you want to watch the game? Well, some people say yes. Some people in certain aspects, like, the way they look at it is, I can sit here and watch. I can watch the game. I can sit here and watch everything go and be really excited because of the fact that LeBron James is losing. However, somebody else can sit here and go, dude, I love LeBron James. He's like my favorite player. I love when he puts the layup up. I love when he dunks. I love when he like bombs a three-pointer. Dude, I would rather sit there and watch Steph Curry play because people are a little bit forceful with him. They're a little bit adamant with things, and they basically feed off everything that's going on. Steph Curry is a little bit more interesting as well because he doesn't mouth off or have to have an opinion, or, he doesn't need people to the team. Like, there's people that get drafted, they build up, and Steve Kerr does an amazing job. Plus, like, with losing a couple people, when he lost a piece of the Splash Brothers when Klay Thompson left, you can still see the drive that Steph Curry does. Of course, he still has Draymond Green. But you got Jimmy Butler, you get a couple extra pieces, it goes monumental. You even had Kevin Durant in there that, like, Kevin Durant was just, made to what it is. And, like, it's great when you actually look at it. So what's the aspect of like what I look at? Well, there's a lot of stuff that when you get to the points of the NBA, what makes you want to like watch the games? Like I said before. Well, I want to see guys that are hard hitting, driving the net, not, oh, look, a three. Okay, I don't care to the fact that the game is 140 to like 142. Give me a game that's 88-87. Why? Why did not a lot of people score? That's what I'd want to know. That's what I'd be looking at. You know? I got these guys that are scoring probably like umpteen things, and like, they're putting up like umpteen points, and then they're making everything to like what it is. It's a great game. Defense is a lot of things. Defense makes the NBA, more watchable. How are you going to be able to handle this guy that just drives in the lane and dunks? How are you going to be able to handle this guy that the only thing he does is pop up a corner three? Corner three! Yeah, my Peter Griffin. To me, the NBA is... If I had to watch the NBA versus Major League Baseball, I'd watch Major League Baseball. And the old Major League Baseball, not the new crap where you got like that friggin' time thing and, everybody's how, it speeds up the game. Like, I don't care, man. Yeah, I pay a lot of money to go to a game, sit in the bleachers, enjoy my time, have a hot dog or two. You got a couple of beers. You're out there with your friend. What do you think? You want to like have a 2.5 hour game and then like, oh man, like now I got to beat the crowd home. I got to beat everything else. You think people care about that? No. The only reason why some people are like, oh my God, the game is boring because they're sitting there like this. Oh, is the game over yet? Did the game end? That's the point that makes me laugh. Because that's what people do. I got tickets with a friend of mine to it was up in, I want to say we're up in the bleachers. And it was for one of the playoff games. It was Boston Bruins against Philadelphia. And I'm really excited. I'm like looking forward to this. I'm like, okay, like, yeah. In front of us, there are two people that are being more photogenic with their phone than watching the hockey game. So, of course, I have to have two people standing up and, like, the phone's up. It's like right in the face. It's like, oh, look, let's take a photo. And then they're standing up, they're sitting down. They're standing up, they're sitting down. All you had to do was just say, like, excuse me, miss. That's it. No, the guy named, hey, bitch, sit the hell down. I was like, dude, first off, mouth isn't needed. Secondly, yes, ladies, please sit down, okay? It's a game. It's not a photo opportunity. Well, we need to let everybody know what we're doing. I'm like, okay. See this ticket here? I paid money for this. I paid money to sit here and watch a game. If I wanted to do a photo opportunity, I would have like went down to the front desk. I would have said, hey, can you sign up like a couple people just to watch a game, and that's it. Or, hey, can you take photos? Can we wait till the game is over, get some photos, like, on the ice, off the ice? I don't care. 15 minutes of fame right on the ice. Who gives a shit? You know what I personally would love? I'll state this. You want to stop people getting beamed from balls to where you don't need a net that you didn't need all those years? And yes, it did happen. But the minuscule amount that it happened was small. You know what? It's starting getting bigger. If I sat here every time and I, sitting there talking to my microphone, I'm looking at my keyboard. If a ball came flying and hit me, why am I focused on my keyboard? Why am I focused on the other stuff? Why am I focused on everything that like goes? No, I'm not interested in that. What I am interested in is the game around me. That's what you should go to a game for. If you get invited to a game and you don't care, here's an easy thing. Don't go. I've seen more people that sit there. Dude, you're taking Jeff? When is the last time Jeff cared about sports? Well, he cares about the games. What does he care about? I sat there, I brought you to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals, and we were right there. It was a great game. Well, Jeff wanted to go. And he was right there when I got the ticket, so he asked. I said yes. Name one sport that Jeff cares about. Because, you know, there are guys that sit there and they say they want to go to a game. They're going to be on their phone. Okay? I made this joke a long time ago. It still stands. Baseball, football, basketball, hockey. The name of the game, basically, simply put, okay, it's actual sports. It's not playing pocket pool in your bedroom. It's not playing like, playing with yourself. It's actually watching sporting events that people care about. Okay, when people pay the money for the tickets, okay, it's a night out. Has anyone been to Boston on nights out? It's nice to go on. You go to the Garden. You get dinner beforehand, and then you're munching on like nachos by the second period, and you're drinking 2 beers, and you're not spending a lot, but you bought dinner beforehand. Great night. Relax. It's good. It's the same thing like I've told people like when I go to a baseball game. Okay? You go in right by the third base, and this is me. You hit the Sausage King. $10. Sausage, pepper, and onion. You walk around the outside of the park a little bit. You relax. You take in the ambiance. You go now through Lansdowne Street, and you can go in with the sausage. Nobody cares. But you go in through the Lansdowne Street exit, and you're walking around, not Lansdowne Street, whatever the frig what do they name it? Ortiz Way? It's been a while. Cora's still in deck. Who cares? But you go down there. Then you go into like, hey, they got the clubhouse over there. You look at like, you want to buy a shirt, you want to buy a hat, you want to be stylish. And then you walk out, and then you go, we're right in the park. Everybody's happy. That's a me thing. Guys who are into sports, girls who are into sports, pay attention to what they do. They have little niches. Everybody does. Okay? They're little quirks. I hit the Sausage King, and then I go in. You know something? I might buy a bag of peanuts, or I might buy friggin' an ice cream. Okay? I get a beer. I get another beer. I enjoy the game. I go home. Sometimes I go out with friends if it's an early game, and I'm like, yes! Let's talk about those Sox, baby. And yes, I take pictures of the field. I take pictures of what's going on. But you know what I'm doing while I'm taking those photos? I'm paying attention. Hey, there's a foul ball. Look, it's coming at me. I ain't going to be sitting like this. Camera's going to drop and I'm watching the ball. Want to know why? Everywhere in the park it says, watch out for fly balls. Common sense ain't no common sense anymore. But think going back to like the KFC, the KFC, the OKC win. We can think about KFC. It's very good. I'll take a 3-piece, please. Think about OKC. You get people that want to go in there. Do you realize probably a portion of them came from Indiana just to watch the game? People flew in there just to watch the game. It's Game 7 of the finals. We could sit there and do this. We could sit there and do this. It's a great, great understanding. the point is, in that market, the only people who care about OKC winning are people in OKC. And it's probably a small margin. Because I'll tell you why. There's probably about 18 to 20% of people who actually care about Oklahoma City Thunder. 18 to 20% of the population that is in Oklahoma. Some people go because it's a basketball game. Some people will go because, hey, the Lakers are in town. Or they're doing it because, I don't know, Karl Anthony Towns is going to be there. Or, hey, I want to see Zion Williamson play. Where's that guy been? Hey, Oklahoma, it's great. I want to see the Bulls. I'm a Bulls fan. That's the 18 to 20%. The other 40 just found out about basketball. You want to know how I know? The 40% actually started with 15 to 18% and then gradually went up. The way it did was they found out to the fact that they were first in the conference and that they were doing really good and they were winning games. If you probably talk to a portion of those people, they couldn't even name who SGA was. And then name somebody else on the team. Can't do it. Okay? That's the point of it. Point two, when you again go into it, what's the next theory? Well, your numbers go higher because they just made the playoffs. So that means, hey, Bobby, you want to go to a playoff game? Who's playing? Hey, look at this guy. He doesn't even know. Hey, Oklahoma City Thunder. Still got a basketball team? Man, I used to root for them when it was Kevin Durant and Russell Wilson. But not Russell Wilson. Russell Westbrook. Man, what a team. This is them or Chris Paul. One of the two. I don't know. But hey, let's go to a game. They're going to sit there and watch the game. Man, this game sucks. What did we pay $85 a ticket for? Couldn't tell you. Yeah, I couldn't either. But that is the likelihood of everything that you're basically looking at. Because you get people that's what they do. So, of course, it's give or take. Because you'll also get the people like out here in Boston. Do you think some of the people actually cared to the fact that the Celtics won the championship last year? No, they're the same people that called them bums because they didn't win this year. They're the same people that are like, oh man, the Celtics sucks. Really? Name of anybody besides the Jays that you know. Who's the tall guy? He's got a name. What's his name? Oh, you don't know? Oh, that's right. But big fan you are. Big fan. All about it. Big fan. Come on. Here's the highlight of the night, I'll state. As I'm looking for my cat. Here's the highlight of the night. Before Game 7, you have Oklahoma City and you have Indiana. What gets announced? Kevin Durant being traded from the Phoenix Suns to the Houston Rockets. Why? You couldn't have waited until after the NBA Finals? You basically put a target on Kevin Durant's back. So if Oklahoma City won, hey, Kevin, you couldn't do it here. You went here. You won. Now what? You know? It's a disappointing aspect when one of the things that you're looking at is somebody that wasn't going to win a finals, wasn't going to win like anywhere, but he goes to Golden State, he wins. Why? Because he had a loaded team with him. What was everything after that, though? Nothing. You know, he's been on the Suns. They've been trying. And now where is he? He's heading to Houston. I don't even know who they got in that trade. Hey, by the way, if there's a baseball because I'm not paying attention, like comes and hits me, just let me know. I do like the ringer. Houston just became a problem with Kevin Durant. It's like, Houston, we got a problem. Here it is. So let's see. Hours before Oklahoma City Thunder and Pacers play for the title, Phoenix Suns and Houston Rockets linked up to send Kevin Durant to Houston for Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, the number 10 overall pick in the draft, and 5 second rounders. Okay. You got 5 second round picks. And you just shot them to the moon, sending them over to OKC. I mean, to Phoenix. But NBA insiders basically break this down. There's some benefits to what they're saying, and it looks even. Houston gets it. Like, I guess they're giving them a B+. I'll just read this as easy. Strange contrast over the past month as discussion of Durant's next destination heated up. At the same time, the 25 NBA playoffs were reaching their conclusion. Youth and depth led the Pacers and Thunder to the finals. Teams were competing to catch them by giving multiple contributors to bring in Durant, who will turn 37 at training camp. Coming off finishing second in the West with only one starter, older than 28, the Rockets were best positioned to thread the needle of surrounding Durant with enough talent to contend for a championship, particularly as the price dropped to the point where they didn't have to include any of the most prized young players in return. 7-game series, Houston lost, and the veteran-laden Golden State Warriors in the opening round exposed the Rockets' need for more half-court scoring punch. The Rockets ranked 22nd in points per play on their first attempt to score outside of transition. That was per cleaning the glass, ahead of only the Orlando Magic among playoff teams. Houston was able to compensate with frequent use of transition and by dominating the offensive glass. No team averaged more points per missed shot on second chances. Both of those factors tend to dry up in the playoffs, especially late in close games. Rockets were 0-3 in clutch games against the Warriors, posting an ugly 91 offensive rating with the margin inside 5 points in the last 5 minutes of those games per NBA advanced stats. Durant is no longer as singular a scorer in his prime, when he posted a true shooting percentage at least 15% better than league average 9 times, according to Basketball Reference. He's still as good as just about anyone creating his own offense. Among players with a usage rate of 28% or higher, only Nikola Jokic surpassed Durant's .642 TS. True shooting percentage. So the contrast with Green especially favors Durant. Also a number 2 pick, Green had Houston's highest usage rate with a below average .544 TS. This is where it gets all jargon. Who cares? The bigger loss for Houston in the short term will surely be Brooks. Rival was key to the Rockets' rapid evolution from 60-plus losses in both 21-22 and 22-23 to 52 wins last season. Along with Van Fleet, the coach Ime Udoka, Brooks helped transform Houston's defensive culture. And as much as the Rockets utilized depth to finish atop a crowded pack of West contenders during the regular season, they're suddenly thin on the perimeter. And Thompson will undoubtedly be a key part in solving whatever issues this trade creates. Thompson, who got the vote for Defensive Player of the Year, surpassed Brooks as Houston's perimeter stopper last season. Having 2 elite defenders was certainly a luxury, one that helped the Rockets defend both Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler in the opening round. Because Thompson can defend on the perimeter at 6'7", swapping 2 wings for the 6'11 Durant essentially moves him from the Rockets' power forward to their shooting guard, without fundamentally altering the structure of Houston's offense. So that's a bonus. Okay, the Durant trade, like now on the Suns side, the Durant trade is surely the beginning of a roster makeover rather than the completion of it. Phoenix got back a pair of wings, exacerbating the imbalance of a roster whose 5 highest paid players, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Green, Brooks, and Grayson Allen, could all be natural shooting guards. Pending those future moves, this Durant trade seems pragmatic for the Suns, who never stood a chance of recouping the value they gave up to get him from the Nets at the 2023 trade deadline. Durant is more than 2 years older now and a year away from free agency, meaning Phoenix had far less control of negotiations. And after the team's relationship with Durant frayed when the Suns discussed trading him in February, bringing him back wasn't a realistic threat. So, yeah, you basically had an older guy in Kevin Durant. He'll go over to youngsters in Houston. He'll be able to work with them, build them, but also give them a strong foundation. With the Suns, it basically looks like getting out of the veteran aspect where you have like a boatload of veterans and you got a couple key pieces that'll be young, talented, and be able to work the ball, but also work with your veterans and actually bring up a better culture. Plus, when they made the attempt of every which way till Sunday going forward with doing everything they wanted to, one of the things that basically like looks into the fray is what you're looking at in return. So landing what you're looking at in this case, you land the number 10 overall pick in the draft. So it's great that you land the number 10 pick. But is Kevin Durant worth a number 10 pick? That's in my eyes. So you're basically sending Kevin Durant to teach the kids. That's fine. You've got Ime Udoka. You've got a couple other people. Plus you also have Kevin Durant, who's 37. He's basically going to be working the numbers with you. Okay? But the benefit of Phoenix getting Jalen Green getting Dylan Brooks, and then you also get the number 10 overall pick, and then 5 second rounders. Why do you have 5 second rounders? And where are you literally going to do everything with 5 second rounders? You're basically going to be scrimmaging for like anything you can find. It's basically bargain bin outlet once you get past like, you know, the 8th pick of the second round. You have a couple extra picks, you have a couple things you can work, but after that, who cares? So is the aftermath worth it? Is it not worth it? Is it something? Oh, and one of the things I did mean to like bring back, and I'll say this afterwards, but the point of KD going to Houston, okay, I get it. You know, a 37-year-old that has a good shooting prowess, but also can control their percentage for shots that they create. At 37 years old, when you can do that, and you're compared to the only person that's above you that can do that is Nikola Jokic, especially for being a big guy, you've got value in that. But here's the key point that, like, even for me, I have to look at this. This is what you've done over the past 10 years, 12 years, 15 years. What happens if you start going downhill and you can't give me that percentage anymore? Because now your percentage is just dropping like left and right. And yes, last year it was still held to an accountability, but what happens this year? I know what happened last year is basically what put you in front of my doorstep. But what are you going to create and what are you going to do this year? Because if you can't give me anything, I just basically gave the farm away. I gave a number 10 overall pick. I gave 2 of my young kids. To get this guy in is basically going to be monumental in changing things. I have to see where that plays. But who knows? KD has basically gone in. He's been injury prone. I mean, look, you know, I'll say it. You get older, it's like, ugh. You don't want to walk down that path. But the benefit too, great. You know, you find what you're doing. You're looking at everything it is. That's great. That's wonderful. And I'm hoping to the fact that KD actually pulls up. He actually does give the Rockets a little bit more momentum. I know a lot of people wanted to see him in Boston, but when the hell do you give up to like actually send him to Boston? You ain't got no youngsters to send over to Boston. I mean, to send over to Phoenix. Not pulling youngsters out of there. You have Kevin Durant and his salary. No, bad. Unless Phoenix was eating some of that salary, I don't see that happening. But the point I was making, and I did ask this question. SGA became the MVP. He's one of the few people, but the first player in 25 years. Regular season MVP, scoring title, finals MVP. And I know a lot of people think LeBron James is probably the last one, right? Come on. Does anybody really think that the fact that like that was LeBron James? Think of it this way. I know it wasn't LeBron James because you got to be a regular season MVP and then you also got to be a finals MVP. And he's been in the league now 22 years. So this is 25 years ago. This is before LeBron. And I know there's like 1 or 2 people who are like, dude, what are you going to call LeBron James LeBron? It's very easy. I call LeBron James. I don't like LeBron James. People want to know the story. How's this? I liked him when he came in the league. I thought he was going to make a difference. And then everything went up here. Okay? Oh, I gotta leave here. I gotta create the super team. Like the Superman. So I'm gonna go play with my boy Dwayne Wade. And we're gonna pull Chris Bosh. And we're gonna win multiple championships. First off, anybody who thought LeBron James was actually better than friggin' what's his name? No. Chris Bosh was good. I mean, Dwayne Wade was, oh my God. He was on another level. And the only reason probably like LeBron James hit the pinnacle he did on half of that stuff was because of Dwayne Wade. I'll say that wholeheartedly. I don't care. But who was the last person to do it? Someone my late cousin loved. We followed him because he followed his career from LSU all the way up to being drafted number 1 overall. Had abundance of his cards. And who was it? None other than Shaquille O'Neal. Mr. Barbecue Chicken himself. And yes, Shaq did it. Regular season MVP. Had the scoring title that year for a big guy. His 1999-2000 season was one of the most dominant. He led the league in scoring with 29.7 points a game, secured the MVP award, guided the Lakers to a 67-15 regular season record, and in the finals against the Pacers, he averaged 38 points, 16.7 rebounds, 2.3 assists per game, and the Lakers won in 6. O'Neal was named Finals MVP. So, you led the league in scoring with 29.7 points a game. That grants you the scoring title. You basically controlled everything on your market to a 67-15 regular season record. And then you basically pounce everybody in the playoffs. And the NBA Finals, which just so happened to be against the Pacers, mind you. No, he went ham, averaging 38, 16.7, and 23 assists. 2.3 assists. So, his postseason for SGAs, he averaged 31.4, 8.2 assists, and 5.2 rebounds. 1.8 steals. So, he got the regular season MVP. The scoring title was 32.7 points per game. Now, here's the point that I want to make between Shaq and SGA. SGA, what is he, a shooting guard? Shooting guard, point guard. He's a guard or forward. Okay? Last person to do it is a man-made center. .6'11", 7 feet, big man, like I said, barbecue chicken boy. That's Shaq. Big man on campus. 38 points in the finals. Averaging. 16.7 rebounds averaging. And 2.3 assists per game. They have to add 4 stats to make SGA a little more relevant. 31.4 points, 8.2 assists, 5.2 rebounds, and then 1.8 steals. If that's MVP, wow. Because NBA final stats for like the last person to do it before Shaq was 98. And it was Michael Jordan. Regular season stats were 28.7 points a game, 5.8 rebounds a game, 3.5 assists per game, and 1.7 steals per game, 0.5 block shots a game. The NBA Finals, 33.5 points a game, 4 rebounds a game, 2.3 assists, 1.8 steals, 0.7 blocks. Man did it all. And why do you include the blocks? Because Jordan didn't block little people. He blocked big guys. He was basically Derek White. Or Derek White is acting like him. But facing the Jazz, he went deep with it. But the Bulls finished the regular season 62-20 record. And they went for another championship. Now you see why, like I said, you could see the hype for like a lot of things. You know? Oh, hold on. We'll go 96, Jordan. This is what people consider his GOAT season. Okay, this is when he returned after being retired. His regular season was 30.4, 6.6 rebounds, 4.3 assists, 2.2 steals, and 0.5 blocks a game. Final stats, 27.3 points, 5.3 rebounds, 4.2 assists, 1.7 steals, and 0.2 blocks. That was after coming back from retirement. And then the previous season was 92. See, the funny thing is, you look at like all the stats, regular season, 30.1 points a game, 6.4 rebounds, 6.1 assists, 2.3 steals, 0.9 blocks. That's huge. Here's his final stats, though. 35.8 points a game, 4.8 rebounds, 6.5 assists, 1.7 steals, 0.3 blocks a game. You know who he played? Portland. That's big. And then, of course, like he did it again in 91. Who did it before him? Kareem. And here's the beauty part. It wasn't even technically Kareem. He went by his actual name, Lou Alcindor. And he didn't do it for the Lakers. He did it for Milwaukee. His regular season was 31.7 points a game, 16 rebounds, 3 assists. His final stats were 27 points a game, 18 rebounds, 2.8 assists. So you've got Jordan, Kareem, Shaq, SGA. The difference to it is, like, if you look at Jordan, he didn't just do it once. He didn't just do it twice. He did it 3 times. because he made it valuable. But also, that man was back in the playoffs the following year. And the following year after that, always in the finals was Jordan. Oh, I'm sorry. He did it 4 times. 4 times. 91, 92, 96, 98. And then Shaq did it. The funny thing is, nobody's been able to do it since. Where's LeBron James in this? Oh, wait, he doesn't win finals MVPs. Does he even win finals? That's the joke. That's the big joke. But yes, even going into this, I will state Oklahoma City, winners of the NBA Finals. They beat the Pacers 103-91 in Game 7. SGA Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the MVP. That was a 103-91 game. Major League Baseball scores. Oh my God. Where is I had it queued up and like now it's gone because they're showing today's game, Junior. Today, Junior. No, I wanted you. How can you sit here and give somebody stats? All right. Major League Baseball, Boston losing to San Francisco 9-5. Greg Weissert taking the loss and Eric Miller taking the win. Boston will be going to LA to face the Angels. And we're going to talk a little bit more with the beautiness that is Rafael Devers being shipped out of Boston and into the fading hearts of the San Francisco Giants. You know, there's been more reports on this guy than I even fail to want to listen to, want to care about. And the part that continually gets me and drives me probably up the wall is this is a man that is I've said it before. He's a $300 million man, which means somewhere in the vicinity, someone is paying him $300 million to play a game. You can pay me $100,000 and tell me to walk the wall. Now, I have a fair heights. I'm going to walk the wall. Gladly, they won't tell me that. I'm happy with that. But the point of it is, when somebody pays you $300 million over the course of multiple years, the bonus piece is, yeah, we need you to do this. And I've never really seen anybody bend over backwards to say no. I mean, when you get into the hype of people being told, hey, we need you to do this. Okay, cool. Are you going to do this? Yep. Well, when? Just now. Why? Because I can. What's the point of it? Well, I need to get this done. Okay. Where's the competitive piece of it? Well, $30 million, anybody should be getting it done. They should be getting it taken care of. You know, that's the waking point of what you look at, how you look at it. To me, I would have rather have given $300 million to Mookie Betts. I would have rather pay Mookie, see how Devers goes, see how he progresses, see how he plays. But you basically would have had the guy who could play anywhere and not have a care in the world, and probably would have told you if Tristan Casas went down, hey, I'll cover that bag. Instead, you give the $300 million to somebody that you tell them, like, hey, we need you at DH because we're going to be signing this guy, and you throw a hissy fit because that's where you want to play. I understand when people want to play the game, and I still want to know if the Red Sox said, you're going to be stuck at DH. Don't even bother picking up a glove. Because if it was said like that, then it's kind of hard to like ask them. And it's where I side with Rafi on a certain part. But the other part is, if people are paying you $300 million to do what is needed, go do it. Rafael Devers even said it afterwards, and like this is the biggest thing I said last Sunday. I said, watch when he gets to San Francisco. The minute he says, oh man, I'll play first base, I'll play third base, I'll DH, play wherever you want. He did this to himself. He basically made the mark for what he was doing from the Red Sox. Jonathan Papelbon called it when you can actually watch like one or two of his videos. He calls it out, especially on Twitter. He just calls it out and says it as it is. Dude, you're the leader. You're the big paid guy. They could bring in just some random guy off the street. And pay him $100 million to play third base. What are you going to do? Cry about it? Dude, you're already getting your $300 million. But there's going to be shifts and trades on that. And then talking to Big Papi, even Big Papi saying, oh, you didn't answer my text. If I'm the status quo of a team, the status quo needs to be basically brought to attention. Here's Rafael Devers already, though. I'll tell you, I've seen a couple things for him as he's gotten started. Hey, he's done this, he's done this. He hit a double. Do you know he hit his first home run since being traded? But I look at it as funny, and people will sit there and they'll give me like a whole bunch of crap for it. But if I look at like what he was, he was a 166 average this weekend. He played the Red Sox. Red Sox and Giants. Yeah, the Giants won 2 out of 3, but the Giants are actually making a push and making like a lot of things happen for their team. Rafael Devers went 2 for 12. Yes, he hit a home run in one of the games. Congratulations. But you went rounded up, you went 167 against your former team. Your first night against them, you went 0 for 5. 0 for 5. Saturday, you played Brian Bello. You went 1 for 4. You hit a home run only with 2 RBIs. And then after that, you had today when you beat them. You didn't contribute. It was 1 for 3 with a walk and a hit. That's it. You're supposed to play the Red Sox and make a mockery out of your team. The team you played. There was no mockery. You didn't do anything. You had a chance to be the big man on campus. What happened? You went 0 for 5. You struck out against Aroldis Chapman. Like, this is the part that, like, you get in the steam factory. So, of course, yes, there's going to be Red Sox versus Devers. And it's going to be like that for years. Why? Because Devers is probably going to stay in a Giants uniform unless he pisses someone else off. Then what happens? Shipped out. But, like I said, the part that angered me, and that I'm happy he batted 167 for the weekend. I'm glad he went 2 for 12. This man sat there and bolstered himself. Bolstered. Oh, I'll play first base for them if they need. I'll play third. I'll give it where someone was talking about the day after Devers was traded. And one of the things in the clubhouse was it was brought to the attention that Devers was traded. And somebody looked over, I believe it was a Breslow, and said, well, just have to adjust our game plan for the next game. But let's get out there and get him. If people cared about Rafael Devers in that clubhouse, there would have been a long, monumentous talk about everything that went on. I have a feeling Rafael Devers is exactly what I expected. He's not a locker room guy. He'll be the babyface assassin, according to what people call him. He looks like a bloated chipmunk to me. I think he was 22, 23 years old, and I still didn't care for him. Anytime I play MLB The Show, what do? I trade him. Why? Waste of time. Why? Because to me, he also wasn't worth $300 million. You know who was worth $300 million? Xander Bogaerts, for what he played. Because again, you don't have to hit a home run all the time. You can get doubles, you can get triples, you can get singles, you can score runs in with guys on base. That's completely fine. But you know what also makes him like a worthwhile payday? Defense. It is stated all the time that defense wins games. And it's one of the things I love. When I grow up like watching anything between baseball, basketball, football, hockey, defense is key. Defense has always been the thing. Defense is like one of the biggest things you can run with. What's the point of defense? It stops other people from scoring. That's a hidden art. Anybody can hit a ball. Can you hit a ball and then do a dive to get somebody out? Probably not. Have there been a couple gems that Rafael Devers has done? Sure. Same thing can be said about Jackie Bradley. Couple gems, couple things here, couple things there. Where is he, by the way? Is he even with the team this year? Case in point. He thought he was better off without the Red Sox. Because the Red Sox were the only one that valued him up here. The Red Sox value Rafael Devers down here. Why? Because there was more stuff to it. Now, looking at this, looking at the standings, the Red Sox are 40-39, and they're just over 500. Just over 500. Fourth place in the East. 2 games behind the Blue Jays. 3.5 behind the Rays. 6 behind the Yankees. It is a hard hill to climb. And in the way somebody said it, it's really harder to do without your star bat. I personally think between Roman Anthony and Marcelo Meyer, that's going to be a really big thing. You know, Tristan Campbell going downstairs, I'm not worried about that. He's going to have like a little bit more focus, get his game like back on a right track, and then come back up and start hitting again. There's nothing wrong with that at all. That happens with some of the guys that just need a little bit of coaxing. The team itself, you can tell the aura is different. You can tell between the 7-3 run that they went on, okay, and the 7-3 run they went on is, let's see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of those 10 games had Devers in them. 4 out of those 10. That means 6 out of the 10 they beat teams without Rafael Devers. Beating the Mariners 8-0. Beating the Mariners 3-1. Taking the first game of the Giants series 7-5. No, I'm sorry. The first game was the Mariners 2-0. 2-0, then 8-0, then 3-1. That's a sweep. And hold on. Mariners are basically in the same boat as the Red Sox. Standings for them, they're in second behind the Astros. 5 games back of the Astros. They're 6-4 besides getting swept by the Red Sox. So, can you say they won a bad team? Nope. Roman Anthony hitting his first dinger. It might have even been his first dinger. Yep, 1 home run. 5 RBIs. He's 111 though. He'll get up there. the one worry that I have with everybody is Jaron Durant. So everything I've basically been looking at, okay, Yahoo Sports stating to the fact that Red Sox are predicted to replace Durant with Power Bat after trade rumors originally appeared on Athlon Sports. So when I'm sitting there, I'm okay, let's go Power Bat. Who are we talking about? Who are we talking about here? Ike Irish. Where is the kid playing? Auburn University. Look, I get it. Kid's playing down at Auburn. He's giving the good heave ho, the good 1-2. He's making his mark, as delicate as it can be. I'm sorry, but the one thing I am not even expecting in any which way, shape, or form is sending Jaron Durant out for somebody who could be, the 15th overall spot that anybody 1 through 14 can just pick up because, the kid's going to get bad. I'm okay with the fact that, if you want to talk about, there was the rumors of Jaron Durant going down to the Pirates, getting a couple players, trading them, and basically bringing in Paul Skeens. If Paul Skeens doesn't want to go, or long-term longevity with the Pirates. But looking at a lot of the stuff that they want to do. I mean, looking at this, Jaron Durant drawing trade interest from the Padres. Trade idea. Is basically dumping Alex Verdugo and grabbing Jaron Durant. Red Sox trade idea would ship $123 million All-Star to Mets after the Devers trade. But you know what I like about the appeal of Jaron Durant? Jaron Durant has come out and stated he wants to be with the Red Sox. Not only does he want to be with the Red Sox, he'll take a pay cut to do it. That to me it's a beautiful thing. That's also somebody you don't trade. That's somebody who enjoys the organization, loves what the organization is building towards, and wants to stay there to make those foundations. That is a huge thing to do. That is a beautiful thing to do. And for me, when you go into a lot of that stuff, that's what you want. I want to be able to look at that, watch this thing fly, watch it go holy cow. And take heed. But a lot of things that you're looking at with everything that you're doing is that these are ways that hurt you. Do I think Jaron Durant should be traded right now? No. I think to the fact that you have somebody that Major League Baseball looks at, people around Major League Baseball itself look at Jaron Durant. I think a little bit more than what they look at with Rafael Devers. There's a little bit something, especially Jaron Durant playing last year, to how he's doing this year, that has a little bit more, there's a little bit more to it, and that's what I look at. If I had a team and I'm working the chemistry, as I'm stating, around somebody, the first thing I'm doing is getting rid of Rafael Devers because I don't think the chemistry worked. And I don't think it was still working. I think with Bregman coming in and basically threatening the third base piece and like going a little bit off the handle, not knowing what to do, how to do, where to do it. Basically, you angered your quote-unquote star and made a mockery of it. So, of course, with that running, what is your next option to do? Your next option to do is just basically go through everything and say, hey, we got to figure this out. The worst part is like that basically tipped the cap. And like I've been saying it, a lot of people out there have been saying it. When you look at the tabloids, when you look at the reading, and you look at the basic go of what you look at with baseball itself, that clubhouse, the tension could probably be cut with a knife. There was something about that clubhouse, and there was something also about everything that was going on that did not make people comfortable. Do you think people are comfortable now? Maybe. We'll have to see when Bregman gets back. The biggest thing I love reading about. Oh, Bregman's going to opt out. Why? Why would Bregman opt out right now? He's doing really good. Do you think he's going to get more money going somewhere else? Probably not. He's now got third base wrapped up to himself. What's the benefit also of having Rafael Devers out of the picture? DH is wide open. So, can you play 2 games, fill in a DH spot, have Marcelo Meyer play third base? Yeah. That's the beautiful aspect of it. You can trade pieces left and right to put in that DH spot. That's the biggest go. Now, if you can actually get what you need out of the bullpen and you get everything else that you need from the Red Sox, I'm not saying you're going to be in first place in the American League East, but can you be number 2? Can you be number 3? Yeah. Could you push the limits for the wild card? I'm just saying that's something that you can really, really look at. Can you grow to beat these other teams? Can you now use your newfound chemistry in what your focus is on everything you're doing to create that outcome to make the Red Sox go from 4th place up? Yeah. I'm still not saying to the fact that they're going to do a lot with Alex Cora. But can you make a difference with what you're looking at with the team itself and everything that you have? I still say with the young talent you have on this team, if you get someone clear-eyed, motivated, okay, wants to work with the young ball players, wants to work with everything and get them up to par, but also have a pitching prowess and focus. One guy comes to mind. He's still sitting in that clubhouse. Why people don't think to the fact that he's going to be that coach one day or another. Like I said, there is something about Alex Cora that makes this team just... ugh. You can see it. You have a lot of talent, a lot of feed, and then you don't breed or control or work with the talent. You're basically giving up on it. Like you don't care about it, or it's something that, like, you just, who cares? To me, that's a huge focus. I want to see big name players and big name teams, big name everything, to the fact that, like, you don't have to be big name, big guy. You make yourself the big name. Rafael Devers is still not technically a big name. Yes, he's known in the Major League bases. He's known for what he is. But do a lot of people sit there and go, oh, yeah, I want a Rafael Devers jersey? Not really. I'm just saying, if I had to choose right now, okay, there's about like two guys probably on San Francisco, Mike Yastrzemski being one of them. I would take Mike Yastrzemski jersey. But there's a couple guys before I even ran to a Rafael Devers jersey. I mean, I guess if, like, you're there, but do you think, like, someone in Indiana is going to, like, if he's got like 5 jerseys to choose from, he's going to say, yeah, give me Rafael Devers, baby. No! That's my point. It's like, is the guy good? Yes. But he's still the 6th person you pick in dodgeball. No, nobody cares. It's like the NBA Finals. Nobody cared. It's like if I could be Wayne Knight right now from friggin' Jurassic Park. Devers. We got Devers here. See, nobody cares. Because it's true. Who does? You know who does? Rafael Devers. You know who also does? Boston Red Sox. Take that into heat. Boston Red Sox care that they got rid of Rafael Devers. Rafael Devers cares because now he can go play first base somewhere. But that's my given point. I sat on the show last week and said, watch if he even states he will play first base. He was bullshitting the Red Sox. He was making a mockery of them and walking into the whole thing going, I don't care. I'm a team player. You watch Tristan Casas get a season-ending injury. You could have stepped up and played that man's position, showing to the fact that you got his back. Instead, my name is Rafael Devers, and I didn't get my apple sauce. That's all I saw. Oh, they told me to grab. They told me don't grab a glove. I'm going to be DH. First off, to the fact that was said, stupid. To the fact that you also know that you're a baseball player. Hello? Nothing is guaranteed. He even talked about Casas' injury. Been like, yeah, I didn't expect a guy to go down, but like, still, was it my problem? Where is it your problem? Again. Hello? You are paid $300 million for it to be your problem. And to anybody else who wants to get on this about Rafael Devers, I'll make it very, very simple with his comments, to my comments, to every other comment that goes along with everything as it is. It's very simple. If Breslow went in, talked to Devers, and said, hey, we want you to play second base, and then he gets traded, I'd be calling Breslow an idiot. Rafael Devers made it like Breslow came to him and wanted him to play other positions. No, he wanted you to play a like-minded position that you were keen on understanding, and then you said, yeah, maybe next year, but I'm not doing it this year. Who cares what time you do it? The bottom line is, do it. You want to win a championship with the damn team? Play ball with the team. Be right, be up, be merry, be proper. Get the crap done. There's more to it than what I see and how I see it. And those are things that need to be done. Do you think anybody in the league, and this is a case in point, anybody in this league of Major League Baseball gets paid more than $200 million? Do you think if they're not asked to do something that they're going to have somebody just tell them no, screw off? No, that's dumb. That's the biggest load of crap that anybody could expect. But he's a giant now. The Red Sox are winning. And Devers is batting under 200. I can't wait because this week coming up, it's either going to be Wednesday or Thursday. I'm waiting to hear back from them, but I'll state this closing out the show. We got Big Al coming back in. And Mr. Nahigian, I asked him, hey, I need you this week. And he's like, oh, what's up? I was like, talking ball. I want his take. I know he's got a lot to it. I know he keeps his nose to the grindstone. He gets a lot of information, and we love it here because Al's always been a stickler for, kind of trying to see how my aspects go into it when I say, hey, somebody sucks. And then they finally go, oh, man, yeah, you were right. They suck. But we always have a fun time with Al. And we're going to love it when Al comes in. You know why? Because we like Al. Al's good. So, yes, expect that. 60th episode is also coming up. And at some point, I got to prep for that. Why? Because the 50th show demanded it. And then one day I'm doing something big. And I go, I did 50 shows? But it's good to the fact I'm almost 60. I should have had more. I should have had the 60th. I should have actually been on the 70th episode. but life comes into play. Certain things come into play. And the one thing I'll still be looking at is like, I'm here. I'm here. I'm having fun. Every once in a while I do have to take a break, but I'm coming back. Like I'm not a lot within the beard as I normally am, but we'll have a focus and we'll do like a lot of stuff, and hopefully with that we'll break down the barrier of the Devers talk. We'll get a little bit more in tuned with like a lot of things that are going on. Besides the Devers talk, I want to know about like how he feels about the Patriots, because we haven't done a lot of Patriots talk. It has been a lot of baseball, and the Devers thing, Cora still being a gump, a lot of other crapola that has basically been going. I'd love to just sit there and be like, Patriots, yeah. But to close out the show, let me make this abundantly clear. Brady Marchand, I don't care about the Florida Panthers winning. You raised the cup. You basically went out there. You also showed the Bruins to the fact that you could still puck. So that to me is eye-opening. And holy crap, everything that you did in the playoffs was, chef's kiss. So hats off to you for winning your championship. Congratulations. And above all else, did it with style. And again, the Florida Panthers, blah, 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 blah. You won the Stanley Cup. Well, you dented the friggin' thing too. I mean, Jesus Christ. What does that mean for us? Oh my God, we're getting out of here. Why are we getting out of here? Well, it's been almost 2 hours. We could do a couple other things, but we will save them. Stick around, kids. There's going to be a lot of flavor that comes out. And for me, I'm going to love every minute of it. But to that end, this has been Boston Concessions. We are supported by SSBN, Small State Big Network, boys down in Rhode Island. They love us. We love them. They're fantastic. I have no idea when their next show is. I have to like hold them accountable. Because I'll put this again on blast, and I know somebody's going to say something. I'll have Al on the show twice. Haven't had one of them. But they show the love, they show the support. I'll state it. But I also bust their Aggies because none of them have been picture perfect on this pod. Where it can be a small state, big network pod. Even got the banner in the corner. But to everybody, have a good day wherever you are, whether it's morning, noon, or night. Until then, enjoy your sports. And anybody that's pissing you off that doesn't focus on the game and they got their phone out, let them know. To everybody, stay cool out there. Not cold, cool. Calm. Don't overheat. Drink fluids. It's needed. It's going to be 101, 102 on Tuesday. Ooh. Screw that. I'm staying in migrating. Good night, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Take care.